Welcome back, everyone. Jaime Schwartzwald, joined by a local rap artist, local producer, local promoter. The list goes on. Josh Silva, a.k.a. Alaska Red. Red, how are you doing today?
Doing wonderful, man. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Thanks for joining us. Well, you've recently released your latest CD, Snowsuits and Bunny Boots, which is your 5th album that you've put out. How would you describe this album?
Something very new for me. It's been a long time in the making, which some of my projects have been, known to take a few years to get them all wrapped up and get them completed and whatnot. But this one, I really took a lot of time and went a different route with production. I kind of outsourced a lot of production. I met the guy here in town, but he's actually from Minneapolis, and he went back to Minnesota after we actually hooked up and started kind of talking. I started listening to his music, listening to his beats and his production, and just really got a liking and a feel for where it was bringing my music lyrically and just the creative process behind it in a whole. I was just blown away.
There are several tracks with notable rap artists, including Obi Trice, Paul Wall on the CD. Previous projects have included guys like E40, Tech Nine. How much pressure does that put on you when you're getting on a track with somebody who you're probably a fan of?
Yeah, most definitely. I start off as fans of these artists for sure. And that makes me want to reach out and work with them, Luckily, I have kind of spread my musical endeavors into promotion as well, and I've been fortunate enough to get a couple of these guys up here to do shows. While they've been up here, we've worked out agreements to get them on different tracks, get them in the studio and whatnot. So when we do it, in the past, it always put a lot of pressure on me. I would get these tracks and I would have these guys lay their verses and stuff, and most of the time I'd maybe either give them a skeleton to work with or maybe just the hook on it so they had a general idea of where we were going with the song. But for the most part, it was always it would sit there and I would listen to it and listen to it and listen to it, and I might rewrite verses 3, 4, 5 times before I finally came up with what I was okay, this is good enough to be next to Tech Nine. Come on, man, that's you're shooting your caliber high right there. Guys like E40, dude that I've looked up to since I was a kid, brushing elbows with these guys has been amazing.
Talk to me about the track Sweet Songs. Looking at the video, listening to the tunes, it seems like you're really trying to connect with the younger generation, and specifically your 2 sons.
The song Sweet Songs, it originated a few years back, and it definitely has a lot to do with, my children and just kids in general. I'm tapped into a lot of people's families. I've been in the community a long time, and I've seen a lot of people have children and grow up. So I'm tapped into a lot of people's different families, and I just see, I see things from a youth's perspective. I see things from an adult's perspective. I have children, so I take all those things into consideration. And in that song making, it was kind of that hook. It's the Gons again. As soon as the beat came on, and I was just man, I gotta say something with this song.
What were you trying to convey in the song Freedom?
Freedom, man. I'm talking about what's going on in the world today, man. What's going on in society in general. What's taking place in the lower 48. What's going on up here. It's going on everywhere. People are being shot. And this is not to say there's anything wrong with the police force in any way in any place. I'm just saying there's things going on, and a lot of people have been gunned down for no reason. You know what I mean? I felt like speaking on it.
We lost Tim Lewis over 2 years ago. There's a Tim skit on the CD followed by a tribute to those who have passed. How hard was it for you to put that together and then to hear his voice?
Super hard.
Yeah.
Still is. Even talking about it now chokes me up. Dude was one of my best friends, musically, great guy. One of those people that touch so many people's lives in Fairbanks that it's just you almost strive to be like that. When you're gone, you hope that you leave a legacy like that. So I felt like it was very important for me to put a dedication on the album for him with one of the last beats he gave me. That was Tim Dog, and it was some of the last pieces of himself that he gave us. It was on his Facebook account. People are still passing it around. And it was just some of his last moments of him just in his element, being in the studio, messing around, making beats and stuff. So it was just cool for me to grab that and capture that moment and kind of put that as a lead on to the song. And then, at the end, I gave a shout out to a lot of the fallen people that have passed away in our community and around the area that, I'm friends or family with. So it was just it was an important song for me to put out there, and I'm just glad I did it.
The final cut on the CD has Bishop Slice. What was your reaction to what he went through this past summer at the Tanana Valley State Fair?
This past year with the fair, very unfortunate situation. You know, it was funny. I was supposed to actually be there that night and perform with him. I don't know. I felt like I dodged a bullet kind of on that one, but really, I mean, all publicity is good publicity.
Sure.
I mean, look at it. I mean, that thing went viral. I mean, the New York Times was picking it up and doing stories about it. So, in a sense, I think it was very unfortunate what happened. I think a lot of people just kind of blew things out of proportion and got a little hot-headed and dealt with the situation again in a manner that they maybe should have taken a step back from and thought it out a little bit more. And it could have came and been resolved a little bit differently. But what I took from the whole situation that I really thought was a positive thing, and I really looked at and was like, man, that's one thing I love about this community, man. Fairbanks. All the artists, as soon as that happened to him, didn't matter if they were rappers, didn't matter if they were rock players, they were punk players, there was country players backed out of their shows. Just the kind of a stand of solidarity, like, yo, man, you can't do that to people, no matter who it is. You can't just hire someone to do a show once they've been here 4 years, 5 years, and pull the plug on them, tell them to get out, never come back, you're 86. It's just like, whoa, what are you doing, you know? And then to see the community raise up behind them and be like, yo, stand together, we're not going to do it too. It was cool to see that from our community.
Snowsuits and Bunny Boots. How do people get a hold of this bad boy?
Man, there's a couple different options where you can grab that thing. I have a website online, alaskared.com. You can also find it on iTunes, all the digital outlets. I mean, if you're looking for hard copies, there's a couple different options. You can get it off the website. That's where I encourage most people to go. Check it out, alaskared.com.
Well, Red, I want to thank you for coming down and wish you a very happy 2017, my man.
I appreciate you having me, man, and thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to get out of here, but you need to stick around because sports is coming up next.